Did you ask something? I'm sorry, I was reading.
I was asking you to read it, yes. Have you read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay. And the yellow portion there, can you read that, please?
Yes. Well, now that you know, parentheses, I mean, they already knew, close parentheses, that I'm not going to cooperate with them. There is nothing I can do. So I don't know what they are going to use. I mean, everything they have and can. I don't know everything. I just have the feeling they might hold me here until my trial. It can take months, years. There are many theories of what had happened, set up by you, us, or I wasn't supposed to be there, and etc.
Okay. In this letter, which you wrote, it suggests that someone from the Commonwealth had been talking to you about cooperating against Brenden. Is that correct?
No, they never talked directly with me.
Okay. How would they communicate that to you?
Through my lawyer.
Your Honor, that assumes that are not in evidence at this point.
Overruled.
How would they communicate that to you?
Through my lawyer.
Okay. And so this is 2 months after you were arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And were you given an opportunity to plead guilty and cooperate at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And what was it that they were offering you at that time?
At that point, my lawyer had said that they were offering, in exchange for my cooperation, they would offer me a misdemeanor and I would be released on time served.
Okay. And I guess, as I understand it, your lawyer communicated that to you, and then you made the decision as to that?
Yeah,
And what was your decision?
that I didn't want it.
Okay. So you rejected the misdemeanor offer
Yes,
based on what you knew?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, may we publish this to the jury?
If you're are you entering into evidence?
Actually, I'm sorry, I'll hold off.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you see the letter on your screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's going to be marked as Defense Exhibit 2. This is a 4-page letter, so I'll scroll through it if you need to identify it. Tell me when you need to move.
I can see it.
Okay. Do you want me to scroll it so you can read the rest of it?
If you like, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure you have full understanding of what it is. This would be page 2 of 3.
Mm-hmm. I see it.
Okay. And this is page 3 of 3.
I can see it.
Okay. This looks like it was written on November 1st, 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that's your signature down at the bottom? Or
Yes.
your name? Let me bring your attention to the highlighted portions.
Okay.
Can you read that, please?
Yes. I said, it's killing me, and I mean it. And then another paragraph. It breaks my heart to think that I may not be able to be with you guys soon. It hurts me extremely thinking that I might not be there for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, friend's birthday, and all those special dates with the situation.
Okay. And do you recall, was this, so this would have been sooner than the one that I showed you before? Because it was November? Do you recall whether the offer of a misdemeanor had been extended prior to you writing this?
I can recall.
Okay. So you don't know whether it was before writing this or after writing this?
I can say for sure.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm put on the screen what will be marked as defense exhibit number 3. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
And this appears to be, well, you tell me. I don't want to suggest anything to you. What's the date at the top of the letter?
14/11/2023.
So November 14th, 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And did you get a chance to read that first page?
I can see it on the screen.
Okay. And I just want to make sure you have a chance to read it. I'm not trying to rush you through
Oh,
this.
do you want me to read them?
Well, I want you to make sure that you know it's your letters.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
When you're ready to know that that's your letter, then I'm happy with that.
It is my letter.
Okay. Let me call your attention to the highlighted portion. And this is after you've already signed off from your signature, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if you can just read that aloud, please.
Yes, I said, I can bear living this without you. It's too much pain that I don't want to live like this. I can't. I just don't want to feel this way anymore. It's a torture. I love you more than anything.
Okay. And can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is the feeling that you're talking about and what is the torture that you're describing?
Being in this situation,
Okay.
what I was going through mentally.
Can you articulate what that situation was on November 14th, 2023 that was causing you torture?
It's being away from my family. It's being in a situation I've been in for the past 2 years.
Well, we're talking about then, what you were feeling then, which would have been November 14th, 2023.
I guess the fact of being away from him.
Okay. And so at that point, you'd been away from the Banfield house for a little over a month, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so is the torture that you're away from him or the torture that you're in jail?
I would say both.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to suggest to you what you should say. I want to hear from you. What are you describing?
Well, I think it's always been both.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
I said it was always both.
Okay. So when you're being asked to recall, and I'm giving you a date, what I'm anticipating is that you can say what it is that you were feeling that caused you to write a letter like that. Can you remember what you were feeling that caused you to write that letter?
No, I normally write letters when I was sad, upset.
Okay. Ma'am, do you see a new letter up there on the screen in front of you?
I do.
And it looks as though it's October 15th, 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and is this a
Oh,
letter?
I think it was November.
Oh, I did say October. Sorry, November.
Yes.
And it says, "Hi, Mimi." Can you describe who that is?
It's Brendan's mother.
Okay. And so this is a letter to Brendan's mother, like the second one that I showed you.
Yes.
Okay. And can you just look at this and tell me whether you know that to be your letter that you wrote or not?
It is the letter that I wrote.
It's the letter you wrote? Okay,
Mhm.
good. And if you could, I'm going to scroll down to make sure I catch all the highlighted portions. So let me start with the first page there. Can you read the highlighted portion there?
Yes. Said, what if they don't let me go home for now or so long? What am I supposed to do? I said it before, how disturbing my thoughts have been recently. I'd rather to die than live like this, live with this pain. It's too painful for me.
Okay. And that's obviously very serious language for you to write. What were you experiencing that caused you to write that particular portion of the letter?
Depression,
Okay.
and I just didn't want to live anymore.
Okay. Now, in terms of the procedural posture of your case, had you had a bond motion at that point?
I don't remember exactly the times I've had bone motion, but I did have
No.
a few.
So you were arrested, was it October 8th?
October 2023, yes.
Do you remember the day?
October 13th.
The 13th, sorry.
Mhm.
And I imagine soon thereafter you had a bond motion, correct?
Yes,
And you were denied that bond motion?
yes,
And did there come a time where you had a bond motion in the circuit court?
yes.
And when would that have been in relation to November 15th, 2023?
Say it again?
November 15th, 2023?
What about it? I didn't hear it.
When would the circuit court appeal of the bond motion have occurred in relation to November 15th, 2023?
When?
Yeah. Do you know?
I can't recall.
Okay. And so you don't know whether having the circuit court deny your bond motion was the cause of what you're talking about in your pain in your
I
life?
can't say for sure, no.
Okay. It was what you said before, being here and being in the situation that you're in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let's look at and there's a further highlighted portion down the letter. Can you read that?
Yes. The first one says, I will always remember you, moments and memories we made in New York City.
Okay. And this was when you were with Tess up there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to move. And finally, this highlighted portion.
I said, I am in a terrible and deep pain. I wish I could take it away. I cannot stand with it. I can't do this. It would be too much pain. I'm firm.
Okay. Those are serious words. Did you seek any sort of help, or were these letters kind of you reaching out for that help?
I also started taking medication for depression, anxiety in the jail. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And when did that start?
I can say for sure.
Okay. Was it? Let's just take a notable event in every year. Was it before New Year's Day, or was it after New Year's Day?
I can't say it.
Okay. And so, Judge, if I didn't say it, I would mark this as defense exhibit number 4.
It's number 4,
Okay,
yes.
okay, I
You
just
did.
want to make sure. So for what's been identified as defense exhibit number 4, you're not certain what the source of the pain is that you're referencing in this letter?
Specifically, no.
Okay, but and this is my words, not yours. You tell me if I'm wrong. It appears to be getting worse.
It appears to be what?
As the letters go in chronology, they appear to be getting worse in terms of what you're saying about the torture and the pain and things like that.
Yes,
Okay, is that fair to say?
it is.
Okay. right, the letter before you, I'd identify as defense exhibit number 5.
Okay.
Ma'am, do you see that letter?
I do.
And this appears to be dated November 16, 2023, correct?
Correct.
And let me just bring you down, and would that be a letter that you've written?
Yes.
Okay, let me just bring you down to the highlighted portions. This would be a day after the letter that was received that we just talked about, exhibit number 4. Can you read the highlighted portions, please?
Yes. The first one says, I cannot bear living without you. And
Okay.
the second highlighted is, I'm trying to be as strong as I can be.
Okay, and let me just, I'll scroll down for you, so if there's any further. That's the end, okay. And ma'am, is there anything different about what you're talking about here? It's not talking necessarily about pain, but it's talking about bearing, living without, living in the jail without him.
Living in what?
You say, I cannot bear living here without you,
Oh, yes.
okay? And was that based on what you were experiencing in the previous letters?
Yes.
Okay, the same thing, or was there something new about this particular letter?
Well, for me, it's the same thing. I guess it's just get confused. I guess messed up with words, how to describe them. But
Okay, so it appears that up to this point, and I'm going to try to keep this moving along, everything appears to be kind of going back to the same thing that you've already testified to. So I'm going to show you letters. If something changes as to why you wrote certain things, can you tell me that? I'll ask you the question, but I just want to keep moving along.
yes.
Okay? And can you read that, which will be marked as defense exhibit number 6? Sorry, were you able to read that?
Yes.
Okay, and was that a letter that you had written?
Yes.
And who is that addressed to?
Brenden.
Okay, and can you read the highlighted portion for me?
Yes. It says, during the day, I just feel like crying, sad, depressed, racing thoughts, heart pounding, and I can't sleep. And this is exhausted, physically and emotionally. I feel drained, no strength anymore, no courage, no hope. It feels like a personal hell in life. Painful, torture, disturbing, and I don't want to live or to feel this. Better take my life in trade of the pain. And the next it says, it's killing me.
Okay. It sounds like this is getting worse in terms of the things you're saying. Does that the way it sound to you?
Sounds like it, yes.
Okay. How were you, what were you feeling to make you write a letter like this?
I think it's mixed feelings. Like I said again, it was a lot to hold in.
Okay. And was there anything greater or lesser than what you had said about the previous letters?
Well, for me, it sounds basically the same, where I said, I just don't want to live to feel this.
Okay, well, it's not necessarily to interpret the letter that you see now. It's actually what was the feeling that you had when you were writing the letter is what I'm asking.
Well, clearly not good. not,
Okay.
no good.
And do you remember whether this was before or after you were offered the opportunity for a misdemeanor and to try, testify against my client?
Well, in terms of the date, I can't tell.
Okay. Thank you. Ma'am, can you see the letter that's on the screen?
Yes, I can.
And if you'd like to read it and just tell me if that's a letter that you wrote?
Yes, it is.
Is-
Exhibit 7, is that correct?
I believe, yes, it's 7,
Okay,
Judge.
thank you.
This will be identified as Defense Exhibit 7, but if you could just please read the highlighted portions.
Yes. It says, I don't want to live this. I don't want to keep living, keep going. And the other highlight says, I just want this to be over. In one way or another, good or bad way.
Okay. And this would have been probably, let me see, would have been 3 days after Exhibit 6. Is this more serious, or is it the same as what you were talking about?
It sounds the same to me.
Okay. Did there come a time when you sought help within the jail?
Yes,
Okay, and that's where you got the medication from?
yes,
And would it be fair to say that these kind of statements weren't in your letters at some point after you'd done the medication?
these letters what? I'm sorry.
So I'm just trying to understand. You sought help. They provided you medication.
Yes,
And is the medication specifically related to the pain and the torture that you're talking about in these letters?
it was related to all that I was feeling, the feelings I was carrying with me.
Okay. And did that feeling that you've just described through mid to late November in the last few letters, did that continue on after you took that medication, or did it get better?
It made it better in a way, I guess, that I felt numb.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to what would be marked as Defense Exhibit number 8, I believe, Judge?
All right, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Can you read that, ma'am, just to tell me if that is your letter?
It is my letter.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, and let me just scroll up so you can look at the highlighted portions. It looks like there's just one line highlighted there. What does that say?
It says, I'm not willing to spend life in prison for something I didn't do.
Okay. Now, was it your understanding at the time that you had the possibility of life in prison?
At the time, yes.
Okay. Based upon the charge that you were charged with?
Yes.
Okay. And who told you that?
My lawyer.
Okay. And let's just talk about that particular area of the letter. Do you remember? So you're talking about something that you didn't do. Are you talking about this case?
Yes.
Okay. And so at that point, you were in jail and you wrote, I didn't do this.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, let's look at the next letter here. If you can tell me if that's a letter you wrote, then we can go right to the highlighted sections, but I don't want to rush you.
It's Exhibit 9, correct?
Exhibit 9, sorry, Judge.
That's fine.
It is a letter I wrote, yeah.
Okay. And can you read the highlighted portion? I think it looks as though there's 2 on the first page. This was dated December 4th, 2023. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what's written on the top. If you could please read the highlighted portion.
Yes, it says, well, they arrested me for the obvious reason, right? But they want me to cooperate against you because according to them, I know more than it's being said, and they say they know more than I think they know.
Okay. And then the lower portion?
It says the only way I'm not sure what I said either, but the only way this case is not going to trial if they drop the charge, and we know they won't.
Okay. And that's, do you recall whether or not you've said this statement, the first one, whether you had met with the police or the prosecutors at this point on December 4th?
No, I have not met with
Okay.
them.
So this information comes from when you and your lawyer were talking?
Yes,
Okay. And then you wrote a letter to Brenden about that?
yes.
Okay, what was the intention of that?
The letter
Yeah,
to let him know, but I think I always let them, Brenden and his mom, know that the Commonwealth was offering me something in exchange of my cooperation, and I always let them know.
okay. And this just supports that you weren't going to do anything with cooperation?
Yes,
And in the last letter, you said because you didn't do anything?
right.
Okay. I'm sorry, I think I may have hit the same one. Was that number 8, Judge?
That was number 9.
Number 9, okay.
That is the same one on screen.
Okay, sorry. Ma'am, can you take a look at this letter and read it, make sure that it's something that you authored, and then we'll look at the highlighted portion.
Is this Exhibit 10?
This would be 10, yes, thank you, Judge.
Yes.
Okay, you ready to move down to that?
Yes.
Okay, can you see it? Can you read that highlighted
The
portion?
highlight, yes. It says, do you know why we, parentheses, me, Dina, and many other people, close parentheses, think about suicide? It's when you're facing too much pain, living too much pain, the pain you cannot bear, the pain you want to be able to change or to make any better. I'll tell you this, what I can't bear, a life sitting in prison and causing pain to all of you and my family in Brazil. A life without you guys, Brenden, Valerie, a life where my dreams can't come true.
Okay, let me just check and see if there's any further
Your
highlighted.
Honor, do you mind if I move the microphone
Yes,
so
okay.
she won't have to track it so much?
All right,
Yeah.
you can do that.